Welcome to Gripping Tales. Are you ready for today's video? It starts now. Let me tell you about Millbrook, a town where the American dream went absolutely, horrifically wrong. So it's 3:17 a.m. on a Friday in September. Sarah Chen, a 34-year-old teacher, jolts awake from a nightmare about being chased by her high school geometry teacher, Mr. Patterson. You know, the one who used to humiliate students in front of the class. Standard anxiety dream, right? The kind we all have. Except when Sarah stumbles to her kitchen for a glass of water, guess who's standing in her living room, holding a bloody protractor and wearing that same sadistic smile from 20 years ago? Miss Chen, the impossible figure says in that nasally voice she'd tried so hard to forget, "You never did turn in your homework." Sarah's scream woke up half the neighborhood. But here's the kicker. When the police arrived, they found geometric equations carved into her coffee table and a protractor embedded in her kitchen wall. Mr. Patterson vanished like he'd never been there. But Sarah's neighbors had seen him too. They'd watched a dead man who'd been buried for 15 years walk right through Sarah's front door like it was made of mist. The official police report listed it as a break-in with unknown perpetrator. Because what else could they say? That a dead math teacher had crawled out of someone's nightmare to terrorize his former student. By the end of the week, Millbrook's emergency services were overwhelmed. At exactly 3:17 a.m. every single night, reality would glitch. That's the only way to describe it. Tommy Rodriguez, age 8, dreamed about a friendly dragon who would play with him in his backyard. His parents woke up to find scorch marks on their fence and 20-foot claw prints in their garden. Tommy swore he'd been riding a real dragon, described every scale, every breath of fire. Mrs. Eleanor Whitman, 72, had been having recurring dreams about her late husband making her pancakes one more time. At 3:17 a.m., her kitchen filled with the smell of buttermilk batter, and she found a full stack of perfectly made pancakes on her table, still warm, prepared exactly the way Harold used to make them. Harold had been dead for 6 years. Janet Morrison, the town insomniac, started keeping a detailed log. Every night at 3:17 a.m. sharp, she'd watch from her window as impossible things wandered the streets. Flying cars from someone's superhero dreams, childhood imaginary friends playing hopscotch under streetlights, deceased pets running through yards, solid as life, but translucent around the edges. It's like the whole town is dreaming with its eyes open, Janet told the increasingly frantic town council. And the dreams are winning. But here's what really made everyone's skin crawl. The dreams weren't random. They were getting more intense, more personal, more targeted. Dr. Marcus Webb, the town's only psychiatrist, thought he could solve this rationally. Poor guy actually believed there was a logical explanation for mass hallucinations and shared psychotic episodes. He started interviewing residents, documenting their experiences, trying to find patterns. What he found instead was his own worst nightmare, walking through his office door at 3:17 a.m. on a Friday night. It was his father, the man who'd spent Dr. Webb's childhood telling him he'd never amount to anything, that he was weak, worthless, a disappointment. His father, who died in prison 15 years earlier, stood there in an orange jumpsuit, looking exactly as angry and cruel as he had in life. "Still playing with crazy people's heads, Marcus?" His father sneered. "Still pretending you're better than me?" Dr. Webb watched in horror as his father began destroying his office, throwing patient files around, smashing diplomas, all while delivering the same verbal abuse that had shaped Marcus's childhood trauma. But this time was different. This time, Dr. Webb fought back. He told his father exactly what he thought of him, finally stood up to the man who'd terrorized his youth. And that's when something incredible happened. His father smiled. Not the cruel smile Marcus remembered, but something proud, almost loving. "There's my boy," his father said, beginning to fade. "Took you long enough to find your backbone." Dr. Webb realized something crucial. The dreams weren't just manifesting randomly. They were giving people a chance to confront their deepest fears, their unresolved trauma, their most hidden desires. As word spread about Millbrook's dream problem, researchers, paranormal investigators, and news crews descended like vultures. The town became a media circus, with everyone offering theories about mass hysteria, gas leaks, government experiments, alien interference. But it was Rebecca Martinez, an investigative journalist from the city, who started asking the right questions. When exactly did this start, she demanded at a town meeting. September 15th, Mayor Harrison replied nervously. What happened on September 15th that was different? The room fell silent. People shuffled uncomfortably. Finally, Janet Morrison, the insomniac chronicler, raised her hand. That's when they demolished the old Millbrook Sleep Study Center. Rebecca's eyes lit up. Sleep Study Center? It closed down 20 years ago after some kind of scandal, Janet explained. But they finally tore it down last month to build a new shopping center. Rebecca spent the next day digging through county records, old newspaper archives, medical journals. What she found made her blood run cold. The Millbrook Sleep Study Center had been run by Dr. Evelyn Marsh, a brilliant but ethically questionable researcher who'd been experimenting with something called collective dream consciousness, the theory that all human dreams existed in a shared psychic space. Dr. Marsh had believed that by mapping this dream space, she could cure nightmares, trauma, and psychological disorders by allowing people to literally confront their subconscious fears in a controlled environment. Her research had been shut down after several participants died in their sleep, apparently from heart failure caused by extreme psychological trauma experienced during REM cycles. Rebecca found Dr. Marsh in a nursing home 2 towns over, an 89-year-old woman with dementia who spent most days staring out windows and mumbling about the sleepers and the dream web. But when Rebecca mentioned Millbrook, Dr. Marsh's eyes became sharp, focused, almost predatory. They tore it down, didn't they? Dr. Marsh whispered. They destroyed my life's work. What was your work, Dr. Marsh? The old woman smiled, and for a moment, she looked exactly like the brilliant researcher she'd once been. I proved that dreams aren't individual experiences. They're collective, shared, and I learned how to manipulate that connection. Every person who participated in my studies left a piece of their subconscious in that building. Decades of fears, traumas, hopes, nightmares, all stored in a kind of psychic repository I'd built into the very structure. Rebecca felt sick. What happened when they demolished the building? I imagine, Dr. Marsh said with disturbing satisfaction, that all those stored dreams finally found somewhere to go. 20 years of suppressed subconscious energy suddenly released into the nearest available receptors. The town's residents. Exactly. But here's what they don't understand yet. It's not going to stop at 3:17 a.m. That's just when the barrier between sleeping and waking minds is thinnest. Eventually, those dreams will start bleeding through all the time, day and night, until the entire town is living in a permanent state of manifested subconsciousness. Rebecca stared in horror. How do we stop it? Dr. Marsh's smile turned cruel. Why would you want to stop it? I've given them something wonderful, the chance to face their deepest truths, to confront their hidden selves, to live in a world where thoughts have power. People could die. People die anyway, Dr. Marsh shrugged. At least this way, they die knowing who they really are. As Rebecca left the nursing home, her phone buzzed with a text from her cameraman back in Millbrook. It's starting earlier tonight. Dreams manifesting at 11:47 p.m. Then 8:23 p.m. Whatever's happening, it's accelerating. Rebecca realized with growing dread that Dr. Marsh was right. Soon, Millbrook wouldn't just be a town where dreams came true at 3:17 a.m. It would be a place where reality and dreams merged completely, where the boundary between conscious and unconscious completely disappeared. And the truly terrifying part? As Rebecca drove back toward Millbrook, she found herself looking forward to 3:17 a.m. because buried deep in her subconscious, she had dreams of her own that she was suddenly very curious to see made real. After all, who among us doesn't have a secret part of themselves they'd like to meet face to face? Sweet dreams, everyone. And remember, in Millbrook, they always come true. Thanks for watching. Every ending hides the beginning of another tale, and ours is already on its way. Stay tuned. You'll find the next chapter right here, and soon.